MIT conducted a terrifying experiment where they asked volunteers to brush their teeth with their left hand. After 2 weeks, brain scans showed that the active region in their brains had increased by 40%. Even scarier, when researchers asked how they felt, everyone said the same thing: "I feel like before, I was only using half my brain to live." This isn't science fiction, it's the most shocking discovery in neuroscience in 2019. Do you know why Leonardo da Vinci could master both art and science at the same time? His notebooks show he could draw with his left hand and write with his right simultaneously. Tesla did the same. He forced himself to train to become ambidextrous. But the craziest part isn't how genius they were. The University of Georgia proved that any ordinary person who starts using their non-dominant hand will undergo irreversible brain evolution after 30 days. Today, I want to tell you why your clumsiness could be the smartest decision of your life. There's a strange truth. Scientists discovered that when you work with your non-dominant hand, your brain enters a state called emergency mode. Neuroscientist Benjamin Phillips at the University of Washington ran an experiment asking right-handed volunteers to draw with their left hand for 20 minutes a day over 10 days. The results revealed a phenomenon that stunned everyone. Activity in the corpus callosum, the bridge connecting the two brain hemispheres, increased by up to 40%. Even crazier, this change persisted 6 months after stopping training. Phillips said something straight out of sci-fi: "We basically rewired their brain circuits." You might think, what's the big deal? Let me tell you the truly scary part. In your brain, there's a structure called the corpus callosum with 200 million nerve fibers. It's the largest commissural structure in the human brain. When you always use your dominant hand, less than half of those 200 million fibers are active, the rest are like sleeping giants waiting to be awakened. When you start using your non-dominant hand, these neurons begin growing wildly within 72 hours. Stanford University research found this triggers a phenomenon called myelination. Simply put, your neurons wrap themselves in a protective sheath, boosting signal transmission speed by 300%. It's like upgrading the copper wiring in your brain to fiber optics. But that's not even the craziest part. Nagoya University in Japan ran an experiment with 32 volunteers practicing chopsticks with their non-dominant hand for 30 minutes daily over 6 weeks. The results uncovered something even stranger. Not only did their non-dominant hand get more dexterous, but activity in the prefrontal cortex, the area responsible for decision-making and abstract thinking, increased by 60%. In other words, when you're clumsily picking up food with your left hand, you're not just training hand coordination, you're actually upgrading your decision-making and creativity skills, even your ability to solve complex problems. Oxford neuroscientists call this neural conduction optimization. It means when you train one skill, your brain quietly upgrades all other systems. A shocking example. In 2018, a 60-year-old blind man born left-handed named Laura Lickover was given drawing from memory exercises with his right hand for 1 hour daily. After just 10 hours, brain scans showed an unbelievable result: his lifelong left-hand dominance was completely reversed. This shattered everyone's understanding of brain plasticity, scientists said. It proves brain superiority isn't determined by innate structure but by functional competition. In short, your brain is 10,000 times more flexible than you imagine. Does it actually make you smarter? The answer is both yes and no. Let me explain. A 2022 University of Cambridge study found that people writing with their non-dominant hand improved their working memory by 18%. Why? Because using your non-dominant hand forces your brain to stay conscious of every action. This deep encoding makes your hippocampus, the memory center, produce new neurons in a process called neurogenesis. But here's the key: improvements are task-specific. University of Washington research showed that training your left hand for drawing only makes you better at left-hand drawing, not your right hand. It's like going to the gym for arm curls: you don't expect your chest to grow. Don't get discouraged, though, deeper mechanisms are at play. Consistent non-dominant hand use triggers diffuse thinking. A Harvard-Yale collaboration found that frequent non-dominant hand users generate 25% more solutions to problems. Why? Your left hemisphere handles logic, the right creativity. Forcing them to collaborate trains your brain to view problems from multiple angles. This explains why great artists like Picasso and Michelangelo deliberately trained both hands. They restructured their brains. A counterintuitive warning. Some might think, why not train to be fully ambidextrous? But a large 2016 UK study warned that naturally ambidextrous people scored lower on math, language, and reasoning tests than one-handed dominants. Why? Neuroscientists say the brain performs best when it instantly knows which side to use for a task. Equal strength on both sides causes hemispheric decision confusion, like two bosses giving conflicting orders. But this study had a fatal flaw. It examined innate ambidexterity, not trained. Recent research shows trained coordination doesn't cause confusion. Instead, it teaches your brain to switch flexibly, like a proficient programmer toggling between languages. The key isn't equal strength but brain flexibility. How to do it: MIT's 20-minute rule. MIT developed a training program, 20 minutes daily, 5 days a week, using your non-dominant hand for simple tasks. Start basic. Not writing essays on day 1, but brushing teeth, opening doors, holding the remote. Weeks 1 to 2, simple actions only. Weeks 3 to 4, write your name, draw basic shapes. After week 5, short sentences, even mouse control with the non-dominant hand. The most important part. Embrace the clumsiness. When you feel frustrated, slow, or awkward, don't give up. That's the signal your brain is growing, like muscle soreness at the gym. But watch for traps. If it hurts for real, stop. If frustration makes you want to throw things, cut to 10 minutes. This is a marathon, not a sprint. The goal isn't ambidexterity in 30 days but reteaching your brain to learn. The essence of non-dominant hand training isn't becoming ambidextrous, it's forcing your brain out of autopilot. 90% of daily behaviors are habits. Brushing with your right hand puts your brain in rest mode. Switch to left, and your prefrontal cortex activates. You must fully focus on an automatic task. This forced attention is brain growth fuel. As Einstein said, the true sign of intelligence isn't knowledge, but imagination. That's the core value. You're not learning a new skill. You're training your brain to think differently. When it gets used to challenges in simple tasks, it becomes more flexible for complex problems. So tonight, start by brushing with your non-dominant hand. Feel that clumsiness, the frustrating slowness. That's not regression, your neurons are crying to grow. In 30 days, your brain will change positively, not because your left hand strengthens, but because you taught it to learn again. Remember, genius isn't innate. Geniuses force their brains to grow. Now you know the secret.